Hey guys, my name is Laura. I'm here with Juice and Lulu. So we have two different worlds here. Today we're going to be talking about mi raza. So we're going to talk a little bit about Mexico as well as El Salvador. So yeah, guys, if you guys have any questions, anything you guys want to know, feel free to type in your question on the comment box there, and we'll get to that as soon as we can. Anyway, so Lulu, we'll start with Lulu here. So tell us about what you do, where you're from, and where your parents from, and I guess, tell us a little bit about what it is about your culture, Mexico.
Well, first I want to say, hola a todos. Welcome to this new event for me. As Laura mentioned, I'm from Mexico City. I was born in Mexico City, and then we moved here. My family and I moved here when I was 21 years old. So I grew up there with the culture, the food, the amazing people. And it's just all about Mexico. Grew up and went to school, so that's a big difference compared to someone whose families are from Mexico but they grew up here. My parents are from Mexico as well. I am the third generation here in the United States. My kids will be the fourth generation. I teach Spanish. It's my native language. I wanted my kids to learn Spanish, so I teach them Spanish, and I love it. I've done this for almost 20 years. So this is what I do. Mexico is my home country, and United States is my second home. So it's hard to say which one is my home because I've been here longer than I've been in Mexico.
Wow, that's amazing. So you say that you teach. So where it's specific in Grand Rapids do you teach? Do you teach somewhere else? Where do you have usually your classes?
Well, I'm an independent tutor. So I teach in Grand Rapids and let's just say around Grand Rapids. So talking about Rockford, Grand Rapids, Hudsonville, Caledonia. It's just all around Grand Rapids, and I provide the lessons. I have an office right now in Rockford, but I drive all around Grand Rapids to provide classes. My students are from 2.5 years old to 80. So
wow.
It's never too late to learn the language.
Never too late for sure.
And never too early, because children are the best to learn Spanish.
That's great. So do you offer any type of special programming or special trips? Have you done anything like that where, you talk to families about, maybe sometime coming to Mexico or
yes.
Any type of...
Part of my program is to provide the opportunity to my students not only learn the language, but also to immerse in the culture, in the community. I have taken my students to, as a field trip, to Grand Rapids markets, to the stores. I have taken over the many years the students that are interested, or summer camp. I take them to the market. I take a group of students to the market and learn, what is it our Hispanic community about? What do we provide in that community? There's so much that the families that are learning the language don't know about Hispanic community. So my reason for those field trips is to help them break the culture barrier. Many times we hear many things about Hispanic community, but we really don't know what it's about, and they are losing the opportunity to get to know how amazing we are and how much we do in our community around them, and they have no clue. So I think it's so important for others to learn about the foods, the colorful culture, the traditions, and that's what I love. I love to share it. So in my programs, I share that with my classes, but I also have taken groups of students to Mexico where they are getting to really immerse in the culture, really immerse in what I teach. I say, well, Mexico is like this, Mexico is like that, you gotta come. but they don't know until they see it, and they really love it. So, yeah, I had the opportunity to take few field trips. We went to the Mayan ruins 7 years ago with a group of 9 high schoolers, and they just got so motivated to speak the language more. Even my kids, they're like, wow, I want to go back. This feels like home, you know?
So you said Mayan ruins. Where is that?
That is in south of Mexico. So
Okay.
south of Mexico, the Mayan civilization were in south of Mexico in Central America. So that's where you have.
Hey, Mama Bear.
You have.
Hey, Angie. Share, guys.
So yes, that's where the Mayan civilization was.
Okay.
And then we went last year. Took my sisters to get to see more about the Aztec civilization in Mexico City, and it's just so beautiful. Just so much to learn from our culture.
Okay, so I guess my question to you would be, what would you say for those people that are, now you say you've taken families to Mexico, which is awesome, but what do you say to those people that live here in the United States that have Mexican parents, that have that opportunity to go to Mexico, however, they're too scared to come because they see in the news, and I don't know if you guys all too there, if you guys are watching, there's a lot of news going on about, hey, the cartel, about, just different, violence and activity going on in Mexico. And a lot of people are afraid to go. And in reality, what can you tell them about that? Because, personally, I feel like it's not, I've been to Mexico just recently in July, for example, nothing like how people described it. Maybe there's certain, I guess maybe depends on the area that you guys go to. But Mexico City is definitely a tourism from what I've seen. But what can you tell us about that?
Well, I think everywhere you go, there's going to be some safety precautions you have to take. I think crime is everywhere. So there's nothing wrong with being careful, right? We seen the data in any city. But honestly, I just feel welcome. I didn't see any problem. I've been there 3 times. I'm going to the street, having tacos, going to the plaza at nighttime. Families are together. They're having the best time. If it's just like anything. Don't think I really don't know how much bad news are saying out there. Or don't drive, don't go here, don't fly here. You just gotta be careful everywhere you go, but I never felt unsafe in Mexico. I've been there already 3 times since last year, and I never felt unsafe. It's just great time watching people, watching families, having a good time, music, dance. They have salsa classes at night in the plaza. They're dancing salsa. They have Zumba classes for all the ladies, and it's nighttime. Their life is happening at nighttime. We don't see that around here.
No.
And they're just, the children are playing, throwing balloons, and couples are walking around, and there's people singing. I thought it was the best time ever I had.
Let me just tell you guys one thing that I experienced when I went to Mexico. I kid you not, I went with my 2 sisters, and I kid you not, everywhere we walked. Now, love is love, right? But over there in Mexico, love is like over the top. Because I kid you not, you walk in every block or every corner, all you see is a couple on top of each other. Literally, like even laying on the grass on top of each other.
I mean, it depends if you're going on a tourist town. I mean, you're going to honeymoons and stuff like that.
I know. I was like, man, I wish my man did that to me. Like, what the heck? I'm just saying, like that stuff was like, that's just a dream. But anyways,
some people are very expressive.
They're very expressive
Yes.
in different countries,
Well,
I believe.
That's when it comes down to the whole
culture
stigma, or not stigma, but culture of a Latin lover. You know what I'm saying? They submerge in romance.
Well, they're very romantic. That's for sure.
The culture, of course, is different. It's not. I mean, I guess America doesn't. They had that culture to me, but it was in like the 50s, the 40s, But for me, I think for Latinos and for South America, Central America, Mexico, it was, everybody remembers abuelo grew up with abuela. That was that. Mom and dad, that was that. Like there isn't a lifestyle of divorce in Latino countries, you know. So it's but I mean the times are changing, but still, as the original like love and how romance is portrayed as by Latinos, that's a culture that's been there for years, you know.
The Hispanic culture, the Latino culture is very warm. Not only between someone who has a relationship, but also between friends. Between, they consider friendship, the definition of friendship, an amigo. That's something I work with my students and share them. A friend amigo is someone that is like a family member. And so a family member, they include their friends. It's just like, and that is not something they usually do here. Let's talk about family concept. Here in the United States, so in the English culture, United States is the immediate family. There is different types of family. The immediate family and the extended family. The immediate family, mom and dad and siblings. The extended family is your grandma, your grandpa, your cousins. But we have grown in Mexico, I mean, because that's where I come from, I've seen that families come from, in a home, there is the grandma, the grandpa, the aunt, the uncle, the cousin, everybody lives. They live in the same place.
Yeah.
So that is a different way of seeing a family. So that's why they say you see a family in the United States that is Hispanic, they all coming out of the bed. Grandma, grandpa, aunt, and uncle, they're all going to the store. So they're very united.
I feel like for example, our grandparents, I feel like they all had over like 6 children. You know, my grandma, how many?
12
kids, 12 kids.
11.
And now I feel like now in society it's like just 3, 2, you know, just
too
because
expensive.
it's too, the world's changed. Definitely.
I mean, you talking about Latinos, I mean, most of them, you know, they grew up in our country's origin, you know, you grew up on frijoles and tortillas, you know, it didn't cost a lot.
Yes.
You know, so but you know, you get to
it is
different civilizations. It gets different. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay. So, we have a couple of comments there. Let's see. Did what to you, Patrick? America's culture is stigma, not as much as gringos.
Not saying it's a stigma. It's just the difference in culture, I guess. Because you're talking about family. Of course, America has big family roots, especially down south. You know, but it's just it's quick to stop. It's not something that really gets passed on because as the younger generations, it's like, okay, 18, you got to hit the road. Where for more Latinos, it's pues te quedas hasta que te casas. So that's the different, and also like you help your parents. It's like like as an American, he lives with his mom and he lives with his dad. It's like a jab at you. It's not. They're making fun
doesn't
at
look
you.
good.
Yeah,
Doesn't look
but as
good.
a
Doesn't
Latino, you're like, man, I'm helping my mom and dad. They're helping me out. We're a family. It's not. They're holding you back. You know. They're just trying to help you out.
A different way of viewing
different
things.
View of exactly.
Yes, a different view because you know, like you were saying, back in one of my students said he's the oldest student I have. He's close to 80. And he says, once I graduated, my parents practically gave me my luggage and said, here, you're done. We're done with you. And that is the way of, a culture and as a way of living in the United States a long time ago. But we know that financially it's hard nowadays. And one way can be viewed, maybe not to be appreciated well from one side of the culture, but the other one, just like us, why do we have our older kids living with us still? But that's just part of our culture. They may be with us until they're 30. We've seen many of them that they don't leave home, but because we all work together as a family, we're not, and so that's how we are, and that's how they are. So there's just different ways of growing up and raising their kids. But they can see, obviously, one person said to me, what I see in Hispanic families, they're so united. They're always together. And that is the most beautiful thing to see. But when in our culture, they have mentioned to me, in our culture, the farther our kids go, the happier they are. So we have a family from parents living in Michigan, but they have one in Florida and one in California, and it's hard, you're not around to help your parents. You're not around to be part of the difficult times that they're having. And we see that too as part of our taking care of our elders' families. They're taking care of the grandpa, the grandma, or the mom or dad. That is something that is in our family so important.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. So let's see. Let's look at some comments. It says, Lito commented, "I will always support my familia. I was with my." Ooh, I can't even see. What does it say?
I think it says he was with his family too. He was 28.
Oh, 28. Okay. And then it says, Patrick put, "What's that accent?"
What accent?
Your
My accent?
Yeah.
What are you talking? Oh, well, I'm from Mexico.
He said he likes your accent.
Oh, thank you. It's gonna be the Michigan accent. Michigan Latino, Mexican. This is my accent.
Okay, so I guess going back to like the culture Mexico, I guess when do you think when is the best time to visit Mexico? When do you think is the best time?
Well, if you are, I grew up in Mexico, and then I'm so scared of earthquakes.
Earthquakes, yeah.
Yes, that is just one of the things that really I don't want to be in there when that happens. So when does they happen? Sometime in spring, sometime in the fall. But it's just, I enjoy it. I want to go back to Mexico in December.
You enjoy being in an earthquake?
No, I enjoy being in Mexico.
Oh, okay.
But not when there's earthquakes.
Wow.
But I think there is anytime. Mexico is so beautiful. Anytime you want to go, it's perfect. So my plan is to go in June, because it's just not too hot. In Dia de los Muertos. Oh, if you have an opportunity to go during Dia de los Muertos, it is beautiful.
Take notes, people. Dia de los Muertos, and in July.
You don't want to miss that opportunity to walk around and see the colors and see the traditions. People are just so happy. And it's just, did you know that Mexico is the number one the country with the most happy people in the world?
Really?
Why is that?
I mean, they have tequila, so why not, right?
Well, I don't need tequila to be happy.
Tacos and tequila, that's all we need, guys.
It comes in our
That's all
blood.
we
We're
need.
just happy. And that is just it. You can go for tacos anytime. You can go and listen to the music, admire the art, learn about the history, the ruins that were left behind from Aztecs, the Mayan, and all different cultures, because Mexico is a country with such a big diversity and culture. Not only was the Mayan and the Aztecs, we had the Olmecas, the different ethnic groups that left something behind, that left their way of living, their way of cooking, their way of taking care of each other. And it's just so beautiful to see the diversity in our country.
Yeah.
And they're so warm. They're so welcome to say, try this, try that.
Okay. So in Mexico, there is, I guess, I feel like Mexico is just such a big of a, country that you have certain parts of Mexico have, how can I say it? I guess we're all the same. We're all Mexican, right? But then you have your light skin, you have your dark skin.
Yeah, we have
all types.
Yeah.
So I guess, do you kind of have like a history or kind of some knowledge as far as like why that is?
Well,
in different parts of
our heritage is.
You get just like
take
down,
it on.
No, well, just like down there.
Yeah.
And I mean there by under United States to Central America. There were all those tribes, like she mentioned, the Mayans, the Incans, who got pushed down there. So when European civilizations became prevalent to the areas, you had your gente indígena, you know, and they stayed where they couldn't be reached for the most part.
Okay, can you explain what that means?
You're indigenous. You're indigenous people, you know, just like America. You got your indigenous people who got pushed, you know, to where they ended up at. And it's the same, you know, they were like kind of like here, you know, you got those people, they almost get frowned upon because they're like you said, they're the darker versions. You know what I'm saying? You go down there, how we look, you know, we're lighter, you know, we're not as short as a lot of those more indigenous people, and everybody has them from Mexico to Chile, you know. That's where they were, you know, and that's where they're at.
Yeah.
And in answering your question, why we have such a diversity in our color, this is what makes us so special. You know, I love colors. And, you know, we have, when the Spanish came to Mexico, and or let's just say Latin America, we had, like he mentioned, tribes or indigenous in Puerto Rico, Cuba, all those islands in the Caribbean. Yep. And there we are so diverse to begin with. And then when they came, the Spanish, they not only brought people from Spain, I'm sure they brought a lot of people from different places in their boats. And some of them were slaves from Africa. So we have a nice blend there. Even though many are upset about, you know, the Spaniards brought us so many raw, you know, bad things like disease, like
everything bad.
Yeah, you know, I had to say, you know, I'm very grateful to be who I am right now. I am happy. I'm thankful for my family. My family is a mixed family of different diversity and culture. My great-grandma was a Spanish a lady who, what we hear in her stories from my mom is that they killed her family during the revolution. And she was a Spanish family. So now when she became orphaned with no parents, well, you know, it wasn't a child's fault. But she's my grandma, and I'm not going to be mad about it because she's Spanish. I'm grateful and I'm blessed to be part of this history. I heard my other great grandma was an Adelita, a soldadera with her bullets. And I witnessed to hear her talking about.
In other words, a chingona, guys.
One of the original.
Yeah. So, but then on the other side, I have my other grandma from Hidalgo, and she's got. There's so much to learn from our heritage, and that's who we are. So whether we are one way or another, I'm just happy for who I am, where I come from, and honor the culture diversity that they gave to me as their granddaughter. And I can pass it to my kids because, as you know, my kids are Polish Mexican.
Yeah, they're Polish Mexican.
So
like,
there's another story. There's another story of Poland and Germany and how their great-grandparents came to the United States as an immigrants. But they have a story from my side that I share with them because it's important for me that they know where they come from.
Yeah. So I guess, I don't know if you guys ever, like within your guys' family, for example, I don't know if you guys have this going on or if you guys know of other families, but for example, my family, my mom had six children, 3 girls and 3 boys. And it's so crazy because we were all from the same father, guys. However, like
Siempre le decimos a Juan.
I want to say like 2 of our siblings I feel like they're from the milkman, from the mailman. Like we're like, what in the hell? Are you sure, Mom? But anyway, it's just so crazy because in every family you'll always have like those 2 kids that are morenos or those 2 kids that are güeros, you know? And that's one thing. Like me, I feel like I'm the middle. Like I'm in the middle, and then I have 2 siblings that are super white, and then I have 2 siblings that are super dark. Like we're like, what in the hell? But it's so crazy how DNA works. like we mentioned before, you know, that is just really strong.
Yes.
The DNA is really strong. You know, where we came from. So I feel like it's really important too, like if you guys ever have a chance, which I should have done this years ago, but I want to do it, and I don't know if you want to do it too, or any of you guys tried it, where you guys
the
do
DNA test?
DNA testing to see where you guys are from.
We're
you know,
probably
so
Irish.
much. Yeah, well, like for example, I know that wasn't my abuelo like French or something,
They say that he
it
was
was French,
like,
and we're like,
great-grandma.
what? So I strongly recommend you guys doing that, just
Yeah, I
because,
definitely wanna do one
like
one day.
especially nowadays, like everything is so advanced and the technology is just super crazy that you guys can actually, you know exactly your roots, and it just is just an amazing, you know,
Yes.
to know that. So
Well, you know, you want to talk over the comments?
okay, Rose's laughing. What are you laughing at, girl? I'm just kidding. The milkman. Oh,
The Arabic.
what is Patrick says?
Hysterically.
Man, I think I need some glasses, y'all. I
Where's your
can't
phone?
see.
You can read from your phone.
Oh shit, I can't. Damn, what is that?
Say Moorish and Arabic.
Yeah, Spanish has, well, you know, I also wanted to share that in Mexico, we became the next melting pot. You know, immigration is stronger now. Immigration from other countries to come to United States. So guess what? Where they all coming? The Chinese people come to Mexico. Korean people come to Mexico. You know, they're all coming through Mexico to get to United States. So we have, you know, you may not know, but there's Italians in Mexico. There is Germans in Mexico.
They get stuck.
Yes,
You have blue-eyed Mexicans. That's
well,
crazy.
you know, well, not me, but
I wish I was.
no, but it is. We are a country that is El Paso. Let's just say, we are El Paso to United States, and in United States we you know part of United States was from Mexico, so that's where in Texas the families are more bond together there because of our heritage, because where we come from. So
Yes,
yeah,
we know your dad, Patrick.
so that makes a difference. So, you know, do you know that the Irish military were kicked out of Ireland and they came to United States and they say, well, if you want to fight, if you want to be part of us, you have to fight against Mexico. And they say no. And then they went to Mexico and they said, well, we're going to fight with you. Nice. And they were part of our, you know, that's why Dia de San Patricio is important in Mexico. It's important. Now, let's talk about what's important in Mexico. Cinco de Mayo.
Oh, that's coming up. But you know what? It's how do you say it?
It's misinterpreted.
It's misinformation.
I think there's been a lot.
Especially here in the United States.
Yeah, well, it's changing. I think, you know, a lot of people are learning. The media has been very good to share that Cinco de Mayo is not at the independence. But it is, I love to see that everyone celebrates our culture. But you know what? Even though it became very commercialized, it still feels good that they love our culture. Everybody's Mexican on Cinco de Mayo. Mm-hmm. just like we are Irish. in St. Patrick's.
Yeah.
So we're Dutch when it's the Tulip Festival.
No, what is it called? The Polish festival. We're Polish.
We're Polish.
Pulaski days, yeah.
Yeah, Pulaski's Day. So,
yeah.
well, we are anyway. So my kids, my kids are Polish. But yeah, it is beautiful to celebrate cultures, to celebrate tradition, to celebrate food.
Well,
who doesn't like food?
No, but you know what's cool about Mexico though?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, we actually celebrate more. We have Cinco de Mayo. We have Independence Day.
We celebrate Mother's Day twice.
Yeah. So I feel like in Mexico we just have so much celebrations, you know, and the Hispanic is in August. Is it in August that we
Hispanic
usually
festival?
That we do that? Like we celebrate each culture. Yeah, together, which is also nice too. Yes. So speaking of that, we're gonna move on to
El Salvador.
El Salvador, guys. Someone put us El Salvador flag. Rose, I think that was you. You're like, yes, representing. So we have someone out here from El Salvador watching us. Oh.
Sit up a little bit.
Oh, sit up? Okay, my bad.
I like that for it.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Sorry, my producer here was telling me to sit up. Okay, so anyway, you are from El Salvador. Your parents are from El Salvador, correct?
Right. Oh yeah.
What can you tell us about it?
Well, it's been a while since I've been there personally.
Okay.
But yeah, my parents, they're from there. They immigrated in the 70s during the Civil War in El Salvador. But I was first generation born here. I was born in 85 down in California.
Okay.
But, I mean, in going back, I went as a teenager. But just like how your sister said, just the culture of the family, like, I show up and all the primos are my primos, like I met them yesterday, or like, you know, like we never were apart from each other, you know. That culture, that love, you know, it's always there for sure. But just from being there, I mean, growing up, I immersed myself more in my culture, wanting to learn, wanting to know. I mean, being born in America, you know, your parents are busy, you know, they're working. So it was hard to be like, oh, you know, this how it was over there, or this is how I knew how they grew up, but I mean, I grew up here and they were at work, so it was hard to, I guess, immerse in that culture. But I mean, all the family I had here, you still had the same things. The same thing went on here as it went on over there, like you say, during the Mother's Days, during the Christmases, you know, Dia de los Muertos we celebrated as well.
Oh, yeah, that's another one.
You know, we do pretty much the same deal, you know. But yeah, and knowing where you come from, that's one of the biggest things for me is you can't show your kids anything else if you don't know where you're from. So that's something huge. But I feel bad, you know, just in saying that aspect and being an American and trying to pass on the language. That's why when you said that, that's pretty cool. For me, it's been hard because it's not my first language, you know. So when it comes to the Spanish, it's like it's a second thought. But
hey,
yeah,
she offered classes.
But yeah, it's something.
You know,
it's something
she's a teacher.
I feel like most American-born Latinos should practice more. Is, you know, make sure if you learned, at least if you know and you learned, pass that on. You know, at least, you know, because besides that, you can teach them everything else. But the language is something. It
is so
big.
important, especially if you pass on the language to your kids, because you know who's staying behind? The grandparents. If the parents don't learn English and the grandkids don't learn Spanish, they don't have the bond. They don't have the communication.
That's where I think it's a lot of it for like all the like I said, all the American born is that's where all that gets lost.
It gets lost
because you know your odds are like my family, they came here illegally, you know, so there was no way to get back. If I go back, I'm stuck, you know. So a lot of those bonds get lost, you know, for those who come across that way from anywhere, because that gets left in the back, you know. It's America and that grind, and that's all that they got, you know, their dreams, you know. They're here to chase dreams, you know, for the most part. And can I ask a question? Do you, as you has been born in the United States with a heritage from El Salvador, do you ever felt like you had a hard time fitting in here or fitting in the other side? I like you say that just because for El Salvador, we were like probably one of the last groups of Latinos to come into the United States. Because like I said, the Civil War was like late 70s, early 80s. And a lot of Salvadorians got immunity, El Salvador and several other countries as well. So yeah, I mean, where I landed was California. So all my friends were a lot of them were mostly Mexican. So yeah, you always get you always get the cerote jokes, you know, because you always get looked down, you know, if you're I've always said Latinos are probably some of the worst racists, you know what I'm saying? Because they're so proud of where they're from. You from anywhere else, like, oh man, you Cuban? Oh man, nah, you this, you that, and it shouldn't be that way. It's hard. No, it shouldn't. It shouldn't be that way. It should be more unity, but
yes.
But like you say, you're so proud of where you're from. You block that out. You're like, oh, it's hard. I think for kids who don't understand that, because I mean, sometimes their parents don't know. They don't know that they're just here to work, so they don't really they might get that in their company or wherever avenue they choose to work or atmosphere. You never know. You know, you get looked down and frowned upon for many other things besides where you're from or anything. But I didn't deal with it too much because like I said, I grew up in a Latino neighborhood, so I mean it was what it was. You had all Latinos there, so it wasn't too bad.
Okay.
But I want to say it wasn't bad when I moved here to Michigan.
Yeah.
But it was more new because it was so many more American people, more white people. So
More white people.
It was weird, but I mean, a lot of
And they all think they're Mexicans.
no, of course. You're Latino in America, you're all Mexican.
You're all Mexican.
But once the community in West Michigan grew in the late '90s and early 2000s, I mean that problem kind of stopped, I guess. You know.
You know what I love? I love one of the things I love coming to the United States. I did not want to come to begin with. I was a student in college. I had a full-time job. I had the best opportunity that many couldn't have, but I was blessed to have that opportunity. So yeah, when you're living back your home and all those opportunities, you come to the United States and you're like, what am I doing here? I left everything. I work, you know, I'm older. I had this opportunity. But when I sat around, we went to this Instituto Hispano in Grand Rapids where they were teaching English as a second language. My favorite part was sitting around the table with students from all over the world. I felt like we were sitting in the ONU, which is the United Nations.
Because a NATO meeting.
Yeah, no, it was all from different.
UNO?
No, la ONU is United Nations, UN, the UN. And so I'm thinking, someone from Cuba, someone from El Salvador, someone from China, someone from Vietnam, Bosnia. You have people from all over the world with only one objective: to learn English. And we are talking Spanish, and you discover that your Spanish is different than the Cuban guy, and the Venezuelan, and the El Salvador. And my friend from Lolis, she's watching Lolis, she's from El Salvador, and she told me, hey, I traje unas chinas. And I said, she brought some Chinese people.
Chinas.
And no, she meant oranges.
Oh.
So she had different words.
So they have a different dialect.
They have different words. We all have different words.
It breaks down to like lingo.
It's all
slang.
All the different things.
Yeah.
So
it's same language, but just different
ways of saying it.
Yeah.
And so it was a lot of fun because I learned so much from them. And I said, when do I get this opportunity in Mexico to sit around all these people? To learn from all of them. So what I took is enjoy what I had, the opportunity I have to be with different people from different parts of the world. And I think that's what we need to see ourselves is we don't just have a one home. The world is a home because you can learn so much from everywhere and not to be afraid, but some people insist on being just one way. One way of thinking, and one way of seeing the world, but I don't want to see it just one way. I want to discover and see more than that.
Okay. So I guess I know that Mexico, it's kind of like a lot of people say, hey, tacos and tequila, right? But in El Salvador, what is it out there that's mainly known for as far as food-wise or drink-wise?
Well, if you want to compare it like to tacos and tequila, it'd probably be... I mean, and this is from the last time I was down there, so I ain't been there in a long time. But still, it'd be pupusas and Pilsner.
Pilsner?
What's Pilsner?
Pilsner, it's like the main beer of El Salvador's. It's like El Salvador's Budweiser, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
Or Caguama.
A caguama,
One of the because a caguama stands for turtle, a tortoise.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
See, so that's what a real caguama is.
Man, my dad would be like, traeme una caguama. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's a 40 ounce for
40,
Mexicans.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it'll be pupusas or yuca frita and chicharrón. It'll be
yuca frita.
One of those two.
So you go, como cuando fuimos a Puerto Rico, ¿te acuerdas?
Oh, I never been to Puerto Rico.
Oh, you didn't go?
I didn't go. So, yeah. Wait, why didn't I go?
Because don't know, you couldn't go. You couldn't. The kids were.
Oh yeah, my kids. Yeah, in school.
So no, Puerto Rico also too, the delicious food, and that's what I love about it. Our diversity in food, our diversity in our culture, and our way we dress, the color for the arts and crafts. The art is just so unique. So I think it's so beautiful to learn about cultures.
Nice. Well, I guess, I don't know what else. Let's see.
And El Salvador is when it used to be a place where it was dangerous.
Oh yeah.
To
Right,
visit.
right. From what I see in the news, I mean, the president
He's doing a lot much better.
Yeah, he's putting everybody, the bad guys away. So
that is the best thing to happen to the
tourism's
country.
gone up. I mean, it's been a big. El Salvador is a big surf hub, just where it's located. Its ocean gets a lot of surf in that area, so that tourism is booming again, and it's just people are less scared to go.
Well, it's surprising too. One of the things also is good to know is that we think that there's a lot of immigrants coming to the United States, but we never think about the people that are retiring in those countries.
Oh yeah.
Most
of the economics are due to that. Is for them. I mean, American money supports most of Latin American countries. Sad to say, but it's the truth.
But a lot of, people from the United States are moving to Mexico, are moving to Central America because it's cheaper. It's the cost of living. So we don't talk about that. There's somebody mentioned the other day, there is a town that there is no Mexican people. They're all from the United States. I want to know
Mexico.
In Mexico. I say, what town is that? I want to go to that town.
Maybe, you know what I've heard? What? No. You know what I've heard?
Something.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, because I was gonna say I've heard too in Baja California, which is part of Mexico, right? That's part of Mexico. I hear that right by San Diego, so crossing that border, Baja California. I hear a lot of people, a lot of the Americans, are moving in the area. That whole Baja California is full of just Americans.
Well, it gets a lot. It gets a lot of traffic. Just on the weekends, a lot of people go there.
Well, the business, the business type of thing too. That we know that United States.
Man, guys, I think I need glasses for real because I can't see these comments. Can you see those comments? Because I can't.
What did you ladies think about the Mazatlan was? You mean when there's no more bands? Well, you know what? If they like bands, I think if there's a place where they have a band, well, that's who they are. I can't, why do you want to change people? There's country music, and then people go to listen country music. There's pop, then they go listen to pop.
I never heard of Mazatlan
Yeah,
bars.
Mazatlan is a big deal about, because the bands are playing, they say, which I don't know exactly, I can't speak for that, but they said the American people did not like to see the bands on the beach. And so I'm thinking, well, if you don't like it, my personal opinion, you don't like it, don't go there. Right. Go somewhere else. Go to another beach.
What's that, like mariachis or something like that?
Yeah, like a specific band from Sinaloa. There are specific music that is played in different parts of Mexico. We are so diverse in music too, in instruments.
Rose, don't you want someone to come up to your home and play some banda outside your window? I mean, who doesn't?
Well, I don't know.
That is my dream. Someone playing a banda or singing to me.
She wants serenata. She wants a serenata.
Wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, toda greñuda and stuff, hola, mi amor.
No, but I think, and what is it, Danzón? There is Veracruz. It's a beautiful state of Mexico, in the Gulf of Mexico, where they dance danzón in the plaza. And they have all this music, nighttime, dance. And why not? You like to dance cumbia. So you go, if you don't like cumbia, then you leave.
It's crazy, because cumbia, okay, this is going up maybe a little bit off topic, but cumbia is originated from Colombia, right? And then it came, came part of
slowly came up.
Yeah.
Well, everybody has their different versions too.
Everyone has their different, because you guys have your cumbias too and stuff. But
like you just said, so Colombia is one of their most famous originators of the cumbia. He actually lived in El Salvador for a while. His name was Aniceto Molina.
Oh, it says there, can Americans
But yeah, he brought
safely
cumbia
go to
big to a lot of people.
Yeah.
to Sinaloa? To
countries.
Sinaloa? Is that what they say? To
You have maybe I'll look.
Can
at my
Americans safely go to Sinaloa? Well,
No.
I don't know. I haven't been in Sinaloa, but I tell you,
Oh, Lord.
the Mazatlan, is, my cousin goes there.
I don't want my head chopped off.
Well,
Well, then don't go, Patty. Don't go,
I'm
Patrick.
sorry. I think that sounds pretty sad. But don't, you want to go to Mexico City, go for it. You go see the pyramids. Go see the
Yeah, there's a lot of
anthropology
views.
museum. Go to the skyscrapers. Do you know that we have skyscrapers over there? And there's one of them is a shopping center. Only shopping, the whole building.
Oh yeah, El Salvador just got, actually talking about buildings. They just got one of probably the most high tech libraries in the world.
Oh,
Yes,
really?
yes.
Yep.
Wow.
You know, their history is amazing in all the countries. Did you know that El Salvador was part of Mexico?
Oh no, I didn't.
No, I
Yes,
didn't. Well, where is
Mexico-
it?
Mexico
It sounds
is
like-
big.
Central America, Mexico was huge
So wait,
at one
so
point.
what after Mexico? Who do you have? Guatemala?
Yeah, we have Belize, Guatemala.
Guatemala.
Belize. Okay, so Belize is a different.
It's a,
Country.
it's a
Small
different.
country.
Oh, really?
I think it had influence from French.
Belize.
And
French-
now they
French and
speak Creole.
Haitians,
They
yeah.
have Creole.
Oh,
Creole
okay.
is a language. But
So
yeah,
they're like your very
Guatemala.
dark-
Yeah, Guatemala,
dark
El Salvador.
And then after Guatemala is El Salvador?
Yeah, and
Okay.
Honduras.
Sí, Nicaragua,
And then
Honduras,
Honduras after
Costa
that.
Rica. Yeah,
think
so that was
Guatemala
all
was-
Mexico.
That was all Mexico.
See, that's where we
Wow.
are. Just
Well, that's why most of them were Mayan and Incas.
Mayan.
And that's where it started to break off.
the Incas were
But-
down south from Colombia down
Yeah.
to Peru, Bolivia, and so I think it's just beautiful that we as Hispanics identify as a group because we're so rich in culture, we're so rich in traditions and rich in native and heritage, and we share it with each other. We don't see each other like enemies at all. We are united because we have something in common, and we see each other like brotherhoods.
Right.
Yeah,
You know?
for the most part.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah, for
You know
sure,
how
yeah.
many times between your siblings don't you argue and fight? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't get along. Well, the same thing with
Yeah, I don't talk.
Hispanics.
I don't talk to myself.
Oh, damn.
It's.
How many siblings do you
I
have?
just got one.
Oh, you just have one?
Yeah.
Okay. And brother, sister?
Older brother. for
Older
sure.
brother. Okay. And where is he from? Like, I mean, where does he live? Does he
In
live
California.
here? Oh, in Cali.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess I kind of going back to like your guys' parents. Like, for example, Lulu's parents moved to Michigan, right? That was from Mexico to Michigan.
Yes.
And yours was from El Salvador to California.
You're right.
Right?
Yeah.
So why those choices? I guess let's start with you. Why Michigan? Why did they go to Michigan? Like, why did
Well,
they chose
my
Michigan to
my
go?
grandma lived in Chicago,
Okay.
and then she moved to Michigan. So she moved to Michigan. So my grandma invited my mom to.
But do you know why grandma
Grandma
went to
originally
Michigan
Grandma originally came to Texas.
to Texas?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then from there she moved to Illinois,
to Illinois.
which is in Chicago.
But that's
Then
what I'm
she
saying.
lived-
It's just like you just got like.
But you
why?
go. Why did they
Like,
go there?
what
Because
the-
of
just-
work.
You follow your
work?
family.
Follow
though.
work.
Oh, so follow work.
Work opportunities, better places, nicer places. I mean, if you
You
look
always want to
Michigan,
know like why that state.
Michigan,
You know.
Michigan is beautiful. Don't you like the Four Seasons?
No.
I love the Four Seasons.
Born and raised here, but I'd rather be in the
No.
south or
Well,
somewhere warm because
I think it's different when you come
don't
from
like-
a country that you don't see beautiful colors of the trees. You never saw trees. Mexico City is a cement city. I mean, I'm
Cement?
sorry for my friends, but
Cement
yeah.
city.
Now I went back and I see more trees, but before it's just
it's
buildings and
built
cement and houses, cement. So you really never saw the change of the seasons. When I came here to the United States, I stay at grandma's. I go, oh, the leaves are changing, and all of a sudden it's winter and we don't have boots, Angie, right? We didn't have boots for winter. We didn't have a coat for winter, and there's all this beautiful snow and
it was close.
freezing, and then spring comes and there's all the flowers and you just
Yeah.
see everything changing. You appreciate it. When you don't have it, you appreciate it. But when you have it and you never see the difference, you tend to take it for granted. So so imagine you're living in just one season.
Yeah, I love that.
Good. Yeah, I was good with it. I was good. But like she said, I guess work, because like I said, work for sure for my parents, because in the mid '90s, a big recession hit California. So
so
my mom had a uncle. My mom had a brother who lived here, my uncle, and work was easy to get here at that time. So they followed the work. So they came up here in the late '90s, and I mean, I've been here since then, I guess, pretty much.
So you were born in California?
Yeah.
Okay, and then you moved to Michigan. Why?
They were following the work.
Oh,
there was no work.
Oh, your parents had moved to Michigan too.
Yeah, I was a teenager.
I only see a few comments.
I was a teenager, so I couldn't make any decisions really. So I just had to make it up here. But yeah, the cold. I mean, that's a big change for someone who ain't never been here. But I guess you live here, you get immune to it for the most part. I mean, but.
Yeah, I've always wondered because, I have I know people, I have a couple of friends that their parents went to like Nebraska.
Oh, yeah.
They went to certain states around, like how they started. And so I'm like, well, why that specific state? Like,
Latinos,
what is it about?
You get a lot of your migrant workers as well, too. And those families, they follow the work. And a lot of the times they'll get stuck somewhere they went to work at, and start a family there. And then that's how you get people in Michigan. You get a lot of farm workers that come up from Florida during the picking season that's big up here.
You want to know something crazy too?
And they get stuck up here and
just like you're working. Where are you working your company for so long?
No, well, listen, not about that. No, but I'm talking about, okay, for example, like Mexicans, you mostly see them like in Cali, Texas. And like more in the South. And then what's crazy is like now we're talking about different cultures here, like Dominicans and Puerto Ricans. You see them in New York, Miami.
Like I said, it's mostly where those, because you got a lot of those Puerto Ricans that came in from the ocean. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
so that's going to get on that side of the country. And you got your Central Americans and Mexicans. You got California and Texas.
Yeah.
So you're gonna go where that coyote drop you off at. You know what I mean? And that's it. Like if you have more family, they might come and pick you up, and you'll make that trip north. And but I mean, like you just said, Latinos, just like how I said earlier about when El Salvador was going through their civil war, they got immunities in plenty other countries. I got an uncle who took that opportunity and ended up in Australia. So I got Australian Salvadorian cousins.
Oh, really?
So but then like that, you got Latinos like that all around the world.
Yeah.
All around the world. You got Mexican, British. Salvadorian, Australian. You got Mexican, Chinese kids in those countries, because that's where their parent ended up at. Either from military work, who knows what. It's just we were sprinkled around. We're everywhere.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So it's just whatever work, our previous generations came because of work. And the ones that we stay here and make a life in Michigan, well, we just build a family. You were born here, and you didn't have to go anywhere. You just grew up and went to school, make your decisions, and
let's see.
And then and that's just it.
Yeah, that's it.
You didn't move anymore. But those who come to United States are coming for a better place for their family, a safer place, for safety and for a better opportunities. And that's just how the first generations come. And there's many of them that love to work in the field. Many, I work with the migrant program, and many of the families I have asked them, why don't you apply in another place? Because I love my freedom in the field. I love to be independent, and even though I'm picking apples, I'm picking this, I have that freedom. I don't have to be moved around. I can just set my time. I'm going to be working this season, and I'm outside. And some people like that. And then they grow and they have children, and their children move with them everywhere. But that's a new lifestyle. The children get used to moving all over the place. Some don't like it, obviously. We know that. Some migrant families don't like to be traveling too much with children, but sometimes the need is bigger than that. So it is important.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have Patrick here that's saying what she just said is why ancestors of most Americans came here.
So what?
True.
Yeah.
Also true.
Yeah, we all came here. You know, just like
they're all this. It's all the same deal.
yeah, it's just different time.
Yeah, that's all the time. America is the land of the migrant. No matter how you guys want to, if you want to call white people American or whatever, you know,
Caucasian American white people.
It is what it is. But you guys were immigrants. I didn't even say worse than us, but y'all came over a whole ocean to get here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were Latinos for the most part here. I mean, just like Native Americans, but it's all the same thing. America was the land of dreams. You know that's what it got sold as.
The land
and
of
that's
freedom.
what it is. The land of freedom.
The land of freedom. We talk about
places like Latino countries and European countries didn't have that. You don't have a choice. You know, especially when it comes to communism and monarchies out east. It's the same thing. That you want to be here to be able, like she just said, to have a freedom, or just to be able to live how you want to, and that's why we're here. That's why they made that. That's why our parents and ancestors made the journey.
Yeah, but you know, with my kids, that their great grandparents came in a boat from Europe. They came in a boat and I have heard stories where they have to change their names because they want to leave their past, their suffering behind. So they became a new person with a new last name. And so that is kind of, sad that they had to lose their identity to become new person, to live in a new country and a new place with a new name. And then forget about everything because there was so much suffering in Europe during those years. And so when we hear the story of how my kids' great grandparents came and how they met here and they built, the first generation is the one that worked the hardest to build a foundation for the second, third, and fourth generation. So those are the ones that deserve all the credit because they were escaping from bad things. They were coming to feel free.
Oh, yeah.
And that is something that's how America was started. And so there's no difference for any of us that now that we came after. And they will continue to come because they want something different. Something better.
Okay, so I guess what can you tell like the audience that are watching us right now? I guess we'll take it from each side and then we'll wrap it up. But like, what would you say the pros and cons of going and visiting Mexico?
There is more pros and cons. It all depends on you. You get into the wrong area at the wrong time, then you're gonna find trouble. Just be wise. And Mexico is beautiful. And you look for trouble, you'll find trouble. But there's more pros. There's so much to learn. Take the opportunity to visit Mexico and Walmart. You know what's so funny, Patterson?
Patrick.
Okay, Patrick.
Just call him Patty.
Patty. Okay, Patrick. Let me tell you something. You know about the trade, right? The trade between Mexico, Canada, and the United States. It's all commercialism. So guess what? My last visit, here I go, and I go to the mall. The mall in Mexico. I'm thinking, oh yeah, I'm so excited. I'm in the mall in Mexico. Restaurants, Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh yeah.
Starbucks. PF chains, Burger King, McDonald's. Okay, wait a minute. Where are the tacos?
Like where
are the tacos? Yeah, billboards on the roads. Subway, Burger King, I'm like, what?
He's in trouble, all right.
Yeah, and then, let's go shopping. Where are we going to the market? Walmart. What?
Oh, yeah.
There is Walmart, there is Home Depot, there is Sam's Club, there is Costco, there is anything you name we have here. One day, one of my trips, I go, wait a minute, am I in Grand Rapids? Because it looks just like Grand Rapids. The plazas, the little plazas, it has a taco place, but everything else looks just like America.
Yeah.
So you'd be surprised how much we see a lot of, I love that we see markets, Mexican markets all over in Grand Rapids, Southwest, love it. But you go to Mexico, you will not be lost. You will have all the restaurants we have here, Pizza Hut.
Oh, yeah.
So don't be afraid because you're always going to find something related to the United States.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
told you.
Yeah.
Same thing in El
mean,
Salvador? Is it like that over there?
I know the last time I went, it was pretty much the same exact thing. The only thing that's
Yeah.
going to change is you got like Salvadorian sodas in the beer they got. That's it. I mean,
Yeah.
they use the dollar too, so I mean the money ain't going to be too much different. But yeah, just like she said, take in the culture, the views. Like she said, there's a lot of ruins. El Salvador has a lot of ruins. It's the land of volcanoes, so there's plenty of attractions all throughout Latin America.
So we're missing the opportunity to get
So
to...
yeah, matter of fact, we got to start booking flights. So
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll see how
You
it
need
goes.
to
Get your
learn
guys'
Spanish?
passports.
You need to learn Spanish?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys
Get
need
it
to learn
together.
Spanish. Hit her up.
I gotta get something out of this.
Yeah, for sure. No, seriously.
You know, I gotta tell you quick. I just
Yep.
got a request for teaching Spanish to a couple who's moving to Mexico.
Nice.
A couple from here, from United States, is moving to Mexico because the United States business are in Mexico.
Oh yeah.
So there's a lot of people that are moving their families because there is work in Mexico. So now my job is to teach in Spanish.
Nice. Well, if you guys do you have a certain name for your
My Spanish
business or
connection.
Spanish connections?
My Spanish. It's Michigan Spanish Connections.
MI.
Spanish Connections and .net.
Is this? Do you have a Facebook page
I have
and
a
an
Facebook
Instagram?
and I have a Facebook page
Okay.
and I have a website. MySpanishConnections.net.
.net. All right,
Yes.
you guys write that down. We're gonna wrap it up. Thank you guys all so much for watching us. Don't forget to follow Links with Chinks. Yes.
And somebody wants pupusas. So
Courtney said in the pupusas are great.
yes, they
Go
are.
get you some. There's a couple spots in Grand Rapids.
You could do a little Spanish lesson, and
When?
right now. And
Oh,
No,
so
En español?
Tell them how to say the only limit is you in Spanish.
el único límite eres tú.
Tú
There you-
sabes.
Tú sabes.
All right.
So-
Peace out. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good night.
Adios.
Bye. Deuces.